Wanted to come today to show you a full face of makeup. I'm not skipping any parts. I'm going to try to show you exactly what's going on. I just put my primer on and now I'm going in with some color corrector to help conceal the dark circles under my eyes. So I feel like I need this because my circles are, you know, I got dark intense circles. So what I'm doing now is I am setting that color corrector, and I'm also using a translucent powder to set my primer. And the reason why I do this, ladies, is because when it's hot outside or if I'm going to be in a hot environment, it kind of helps to set my makeup and for my makeup to last a lot longer. Now I'm going into doing my eyebrows, and I'm using a very small angled eyeliner brush. So I'm using the Anastasia dip brow in Ebony, and I'm just going under my brow and I'm making the underline of the brow, and then I'm going on top and I'm just filling in my brow on top using that dip brow. And one thing that I do is I always brush my dip brow into my actual natural hair colors just so it can blend well. So now I am actually using a flat eyeliner brush, and I'm using some MAC Studio Fix in NC42, and I'm putting that under my eyelid, on my eyelid and under my eyebrow, just to give to make my eyebrow pop and to give me a base for my eyeshadow. So here I'm going into the Ashley Roberts palette that I got off I saw on at Ulta. So I decided to use a lighter color. It's more of a neutral light brown, and the reason why I'm using that lighter color is because that's going to be my transition color for my crease. So I always start off with something that's closest to my skin tone, be it a light brown or taupey color that maybe fades into either a peach or an orange. And I like to use those transition colors because it helps to go into a transition of a darker color, because I don't want a harsh look. I'm already wearing a lot of colors, so when you do that, ladies, you want to make sure that you can transition and have a nice gradient effect and not a harsh stop in between each color. So that's why I'm going into the lighter brown color for my crease. Next, I'm going to go into a color that's a little bit darker, and I'm going to put that right under that lighter brown that I have on top. And I'm going to blend those two colors together where they meet. And the reason why you want to do that, once again, is because you want to give a gradient effect and you do not want to see a line. So now I'm just looking in the palette trying to find another color that's in the same color family but just a little bit darker than the one I just used. So I'm going into this color here that's in the same color family, it's just a little bit darker, and I'm actually putting it in my outer V. Putting it into my outer V, and I'm doing circular motions because I want to blend that. And what I'm doing is I'm putting most of the color on the outer V of my eyebrow because of my eyelid, because I don't want that dark color to come all the way into the innermost corner of my eye. I want the depth to stay back here by the outer corner. So all I'm doing is I'm not adding any more color. As you can see, I'm just pulling what color I have left on the brush into the inner corner of my eye. Now I'm going to look for something a little bit darker, the same color family, and I found another color that's just a tad bit darker, and I'm doing the same exact thing I just did with the previous color. Now this color has a little more red in it, so I felt like I needed a little pop of color with all of the browns that I had. So that's what I'm doing there. As you can see, I'm not adding any more color. I'm just using what's already on the brush. Now I'm cleaning my brush and cleaning off the fallout on my face. Okay, so now I am actually going into some base for my eyelid, and this is a white base I got off of Amazon. I'll put the name of it in the actual video. So what I'm doing here is I am putting it on my lid because I want my lid color to really pop. So this white will definitely help that color to really stand out. And it's also going to help keep that color in place of where I want it. So that's why I'm shaping out my eyelid like that, because I'm thinking about exactly where I want that nice teal color to sit. So this is where I'm going to put the teal color and the corresponding colors behind it. It's going to all go on top of this white here, and it's going to stand out really nicely because of the white base. Now another thing that you'll see me do here is what I'm making sure that I do on this lid is I'm making sure it is smooth. I'm making sure that it's not clunky, that it's a smooth base there, because you want a smooth base so that when you put that color on top, you know, it can lay nice and flat and smooth. And I'm also going to make sure that I take that base and I put it in my inner corner of my eye, as well as I'm going to put that same base under my waterline, under my eyelid, because I'm going to take some of the eyeshadow color and the teal eyeshadow color, and I'm going to put it underneath my eyelid so that that eye can really pop. And this white is going to definitely help the other colors pop. I know it looks crazy, but just trust the process. This right here will definitely help if you ladies have problems with, you know, maybe your eyeshadows not staying in place or creasing. Doing this technique will definitely help avoid that. That's the purpose of using the base. So I'm just defining it a little bit with a very small brush. And this brush is actually a lip brush. I like it because it's nice and small, and I can get into little small details with that brush. Just because a brush is labeled for one thing doesn't mean you have to use it for that, ladies. So, you know, just remember that. If it works, use it. So I'm putting this teal. I put a teal, that really pretty light matte teal color. I put that on my lid in my inner corner. Now I'm going to the next color, which is like a blue, which is in the same teal color family. I actually switched and went into the Jaclyn Hill palette, because the Jaclyn Hill palette had the teal color I was looking for, so I put that other one back. So yeah, so I got that pretty teal from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and then I also got the blue that was beside it. So I'm looking for a darker blue. I did not see it in the Jaclyn Hill palette, so I'm going into my Morphe palette. Now, I know I used 3 different palettes, ladies, but I feel like this. If I paid for it, I'm going to use it. So I have all these palettes sitting around here, and I don't, you know, I spent all this money. I'm like, I need to use my palettes. They still like new. So this is me trying to be creative and use my palettes. So now I'm going into this darker blue that's in the Morphe palette. And I'm going to put that in the outer corner, and I'm going to blend that darkest blue into that middle blue that I have there. I'm going to blend those 2 blues together. But that darker blue is going to give me more depth in my outer V, because I really want that to stand out. And I'm doing that in a patting motion because I don't want it to go everywhere. I just want it to stay in that area, and I want that area to blend into the area right in front of it. So that's why I'm being really, really careful and taking my time with that dark blue, because I don't want that dark blue everywhere. So another thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to end up adding some black. And the reason why I add the black is because the black is going to give it even more depth, because I want it to really stand out. So I decided to go in with a little black in the very innermost V of my eye. And I don't know if I show you guys that, but I don't think I did. But yeah, so I actually did the same exact technique with some black eyeshadow, one over that blue. So now I'm just using a liquid eyeliner brush by Essence. This is my favorite liquid eyeliner that I've tried thus far. I've tried so many, and it's like $3.99. So I'm going in with that Essence black liquid eyeliner, and I am just lining the top lid, and I'm pulling the actual liner out into my outer V. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and get my lashes ready. I'm going to go ahead and cut the lashes, because you have to make sure that you cut your lashes to the length of your eyelid. So I'm going to cut my lashes. I cut a little bit from the very tail, and then I cut a little bit from the inner corner of the lash to make sure that it fits my actual eyelid. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I put on my foundation. I'm going to cut the lash, and then I'm going to put the glue on the lash. Now here's a trick to wearing false lashes, ladies. When you are applying the glue, always go ahead and do that early, okay? Go ahead and put the glue on your lash and then do the rest of your makeup, because it takes about 30 to 60 seconds for that glue to dry. So I like to just let the glue dry a little bit, and then I'll go and put the lash on later on after I've done something else to my face, because if you put it on too soon, it's gonna slide everywhere. So all you see me doing here is just measuring. So my lashes are sitting there with glue, so I decide to go ahead and, you know, put my foundation on. And this is, I think this is the Este Lauder. Yeah, I use Este Lauder, and then I use a little bit of the Becca foundation because my skin color is changing. I'm starting to get a little darker, but my color is funny. So anyway, those two combinations work. So yeah, so I speeded this part up because I'm just doing my foundation, and I'm just taking a beauty blender sponge, and I'm just using the bouncing technique to just get that foundation on my face. So I speeded it up because that's nothing that you guys haven't seen before. You know how to put on foundation. So I'm just putting that foundation on my face so that I can get a smooth look. You know, try to cover up some of my blemishes. And when I put on my foundation, what I like to do is I like to make sure my foundation goes to my ear and under my neck. And sometimes I blend it down my neck. Just depending. I don't put on more foundation. I'll just use what's left on the sponge or the brush just to bring it down, because you don't want, once again, let's talk about that line of demarcation, ladies. We do not want to see a line anywhere in our makeup, okay? So I'm just checking to make sure how that looks. Now I'm going into some concealer, and this is a Juvia's Place concealer. And then I noticed, that's not working. There's not much left. So that didn't give me much. So I decided to put that one back because nothing's really coming out. So I'm trying to use what I got, guys, before I go out and purchase more things. But I saw that one, and I said, okay, I'll try my Tarte. Nothing's left in the Tarte. So I'm going to my Old Faithful, which is Maybelline 24-hour concealer. This concealer right here, now I use a lot of expensive concealer. This concealer is kicking all of them tail. I'm telling you, this is the best concealer I have had in a long time. It is the 24-hour by Maybelline, and you can find it at your local CVS, Walgreens, Walmart. If you have not tried it, ladies, and you are of a particular age and you want your concealer to last all day, this concealer is it. And I'm telling you, it's like $8. All right, so here I'm putting on my lash. I've cut it. It's been sitting with the glue, and you see how easy it is for me to put it on? That's because I waited, and I let that glue sit for a minute so that I can have more control when it's time to actually apply the lash. And what I always do is I put my lash right in the middle of the eyelid, and then I just pull it down on each side. And once you're done with that, you can pinch them together and you're done. It is not difficult. I think the problem a lot of us have, and I'm guilty of it too, I used to do the same thing, was I was impatient, and I would put that lash on too soon, and that glue hadn't got tacky enough yet, and it would slip and slide everywhere because it was still wet. So you got to make sure that glue is nice and tacky. That way you'll have control when it's time to set that lash down on your natural lash line. So now I'm just going in. I'm going over that concealer I just put down with a brush, a concealer brush. And what I do is I tap. I don't like brush it in. I tap my concealer in, because if you brush it, you're just going to be smearing it. And that's something else I had to learn from applying makeup, for many years. I don't do a lot of, rubbing. I tap my makeup in there. So now I'm just applying that other lash. And as you, oh no. Oh, okay, I'm going to set my, okay, yeah, I am going to set my under eye. And here's a trick that I learned. I had to learn the hard way because it used to get very cakey when I used to do that. But now what I do is I will take the powder. I don't know if you can see me doing it here. And then I will rub it on a piece of tissue first. Like after I get the powder on the sponge, I rub the excess off on a piece of tissue. Then I put what's left under my eye. It gives me a smooth application every time. And it doesn't come out cakey. Because what I had been doing in the past was going from straight to sponge into the makeup powder to my face. I don't do that anymore. Now what I do is I go and I make sure I wipe off the excess powder, and then there's a very thin, even layer of powder, and then I add that to my under eye. Ladies, I'm telling you, if you are of a particular age, this trick works. I could not figure out why. I'm like, why does it look so cakey? That's why. You have to have a smooth, even amount on that sponge. So now I am going to add the other lash. And all I was doing was just shaping it a little bit. And see how I just put it right there in the middle. And then I just take one end and I pull it. Look how easy that is. It's so easy only because I waited. And sometimes if you let the glue dry a little too much, you can always go back in and add a little glue. And I think I'm going to end up doing that here. Like, I think one little corner wasn't sticking as well as I wanted it to. So I just take the glue with the little brush. I always buy the glue with the brush. Yeah, see, I'm doing it here. And I'm going to just add a little tiny bit to the area that I feel like needs a little more glue. And I tell you, this is like the best tip you can get to putting on false lashes, strip lashes. Let that glue get tacky. Leave it alone. Go do the rest of your makeup and come back to them lashes after you let that glue set. So that's just me, you know, I just put that little bit of glue on there and adhere the inner corner. So now, okay, like I said, my skin is funny. So now this is actually going to be a bronzer. I know it kind of looks like it probably matches my skin tone. It doesn't. As you can see, it's darker. So this is the one size. I think this is actually foundation, but I use it as a bronzer, and I think it's Deep 4 is the color. And I love, this is like the best color I have ran across for my skin tone that looks like a bronzer without looking muddy. This does not look muddy at all. It looks so natural, and it just gives me that little bit of deepness so that my face won't look so flat. You know, with all of those different powder colors and stuff, you always need to add some type of bronzer to break up that flatness in your face. Well, I do anyway, so that's what I do. And I'm using that same, you know, I'm using that same bronzer, which is actually a foundation, but I'm using that as a bronzer. And I'm just going down the sides of my nose, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a little shaping on my nose. And this just helps to make my nose look a little more elongated, because I got a pudgy nose. So, you know, it just helps to give a little more definition to my nose. I just kind of felt like, well, I might as well do it. I got it in my hand. So that's all I'm doing there. Just taking the natural shape of my nose and just putting little shadows on the side. It just kind of helps to give it a little more shape. But I actually love it. I have ran out of this actual color 4 times. I have purchased this same makeup 4 times. Now I'm just putting a little of the Rihanna Fenty highlighter on my nose. But I love that one size bronzer. That one size foundation that I use as a bronzer. I love it. Okay, so now what I have to do is, now that I put that bronzer on, I need to go in to just with a little teeny bit. It's not a lot on that brush, but that's just a little bit of translucent powder in Deep, and that's the Laura Mercier powder. It's in Deep. So I'm just going in and just combining those colors together with that little bit of translucent powder. And the reason why I do that is because there are parts of my face that I didn't set. Yeah, I set underneath my eye. You saw me add some bronzer on my face, you know, under my cheekbones and under my chin, but there's still certain parts of the face that didn't get set with powder. So that was the purpose of using that translucent powder in Deep, just to set those parts of my face, and it's not heavy. So you use a very small amount, and you just kind of brush over or dust the face a little bit. So I'm just kind of going into some spots on my eye that I see needed some detailing. Okay, so here I am actually going into the palette, that Jaclyn Hill palette, and I am getting some of that teal that I use for my lid, and I am putting it, remember where I put that white base? Now it's time to fill it in. So now the same colors that I used on my lid, I'm using in the lower part of my eyelid there, my under eye. And that's gonna make my eyeliner stand out more. It's gonna make my eyes pop more. And I didn't go heavy. It's, you know, it's something that you can see when you're close to me. You know, you can see that teal. It's very pretty when you're standing close to me. So now I just set my face with some setting spray. Letting that dry. Going old school, doing it with my hands. I think I'm going to go in with another setting spray, because that was more of a setting spray slash primer. Oh, I'm going in for my lips. Okay, so this is the Kiss, this is the, no, not eyeliner, this is the Kiss lip liner in burgundy brown. And guess what, guys? There used to be a color called Night Moth by MAC, and they discontinued it. Guess what? This is a good dupe for that Night Moth by MAC. That used to be my absolute favorite. I was so hurt when they stopped making that lip liner. Oh God, I was so hurt. So I had to find a substitute, and I did. I found it in Kiss. Kiss has a very great dupe called Brown Burgundy. And now I'm just going in with some lip gloss, and I believe this is MAC pink lip gloss. I believe this is MAC. It's either MAC or NYX. I think it's NYX actually. Going back into that little Fenty palette and that Fenty highlighter, and just putting a little bit more on my nose, because I felt like it just didn't pop enough. I put a little bit on top of my Cupid's bow on my lips. So now, I'm going in with something else. I ain't done. I'm going in with some blush. Just a little dab will do you. Just a little dab. A little dab will do you. Just want to make my cheeks look a little rosy. That's all. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. See you guys on the next video. Please like, comment, and share. And also please subscribe. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.